So tell us, give us an update on, give us an injury report on your health. That's the most important thing. How you feel?
I mean, everything's good so far. They're saying I should be cleared like towards the end of October to like fight. So I get clearance to start training pretty much next week, and then from there I could start a training camp and get ready for a 5-round fight.
Okay, now Dana White was with one of our colleagues, and he intimated to her that October was when you could fight. Could you start a camp sometime in August in preparation for a fight in October in Abu Dhabi? I think October 30th is being thrown around.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I saw that he was saying October 30th in Abu Dhabi. To be 100% honest with you, I love the date. I don't love the location, and mainly because of the odd hours that we would have to fight at. I just had one of my worst performances, maybe not the worst, but I had some hiccups in terms of how I felt on fight day because I didn't realize how much later in the day I fought and how little I actually ate. 2 pancakes and 2 eggs, and then wondering why I was feeling so nauseous and felt like shit. So I clearly have some things I need to figure out and get, dialed in a little bit better. So it would have been nice to fight in New York, or Vegas, again, kind of do it over. But October 30th, I'm good with that. It's going to be exactly 8 weeks from September 4th. So I'm planning to get my training actually started now. And like I said, I can't spar and everything yet. I get cleared next week. But even then, I'm not going to push the envelope and start taking shots to the head, getting my head snapped back, and wrestling, getting dumped on the head. I'm okay with that for now. I'll leave that hard training for the last 6-7 weeks of training camp.
Got it. Well, hey, it makes sense. You're from New York, and in November, apparently the UFC is going to visit New York, like they have pretty much every year, with the exception of the pandemic year. And then they close out in Vegas, which has become a second home. So I can see why that definitely seems more of an attractive location for you. But you are leaving a slight opening that if you have to go to Abu Dhabi, you will, or is that going to be like an emphatic no from your end?
Well, I think you guys know how it goes with telling Dana White no. So I don't think there's much negotiation there to be 100. If I'm being 100% honest and transparent, I don't think they're going to give me an opportunity to negotiate that. And I mean, I'm not looking to get in a pissing war with Dana all over again, So that's what they want. That's what they want. That's the location they want. Like I said, the date's good. It's just the location for me it's not fun. I know Petr Yan's been training out at American Top Team, so I don't even know what he's going to do, if he's going to move his whole camp back to Thailand or however that's going to work for him. But I think we both got a lot of things we got to figure out. But if we can have if they can overturn the stupid medical clearance so I can fight in New York, this wouldn't even be an issue right now. I'd be MSG, my first time fighting as a pro. I fought there as an amateur. Why can't I fight there as a pro? Like, come on, New York, man, get your shit together, Let's make some money. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, but we'll see if they ever make that change.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It seems like the commissions are starting to catch up a little bit. Recently, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, along with USADA, are saying, all right, blaze up, let's do it. THC no longer a problem. But that's something we all kind of figured out 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if I'm even being, strict about it. So I have heard that stuff in boxing and MMA. New York has very, very tough clearances. And I think they need to have that looked at as well.
Yeah, they said they were. I called them a couple of times in the past couple of years, and they said they would look into it. And then the last time I called, they said, yeah, we're not changing anything. I was like, all right, well, thanks for the wild goose chase. But it is what it is, man. I'm going to show up. I'm going to fight. And I can't wait to just shut these guys up. You know what blows my mind is that these guys are still going on about this since March 6th. And I'm just like, dude, what would you have done if your family and your friends that flew miles, spent hundreds of dollars, maybe even a couple thousand to come see you, hang out with you for what's supposed to be the biggest moment of your life? It goes that way, and they're trying to cheer you up, and they're putting the belt on you and telling you to take pictures with it for everybody. I don't get it. Like, maybe next time I'll start fighting them back while I'm concussed and to, hey, I can't do that. It's not honorable.
It's very obvious, right now you guys aren't getting along, but we've seen some of the biggest rivals in boxing and even mixed martial arts. Eventually, years down the road, they have a beer, a meal together. Has he just crossed the line that can never come back, or do you see maybe further down the line, maybe one day you guys can have a beer and laugh about this whole thing?
Honestly, my honest assessment, I don't know him like that well, but from what I see, man, I feel like he's kind of a shitty person, and that's just my honest opinion. And you don't go from apologizing and then start to say, "Oh, the guy is faking" and blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, if faking, you threw the knee, you know the rules. You're the champ, and I'm faking. I was like, clearly I'm compromised coming into the fight. Whatever, you threw the knee. Long story short, man, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I don't keep grudges, but when someone's a shitty person, I just don't want to be around you, So I'm all about good energy, good vibrations. And at the end of the day, man, we're going to have a fight. This is what we both love to do. And I can't wait to just go out there, settle the score. And from there, we'll figure it out. If we're meant to be friends or if we're meant to be cordial, then we'll do that. But at the end of the day, I got no respect for this guy right now. The guy talks so much shit for something that he did. And I get the backlash for it, which is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. And it is what it is. Like I said, he was starting to come on really, really strong, and I was clearly fading. That's no secret. I know that. I'm no dummy. But at the end of the day, you had a layup to win, and you fucked that up. So that's on him, not on me. And we're going to make it right in October 30th, it looks like.
Aljo, your mindset. What is the correct mindset here when you look at this fight, this rematch? Is this round 5 a continuation of the last fight, or do you have to look at this as a complete different entity?
I think it's a completely different fight. If you look at I stalk all my opponents. So if you look at Petr Yan's Instagram right now, this guy is going ham as if he's in the middle of a training camp right now. As in, when I say the middle, that means things are picking up and you're going crazy. You're really trying to make sure you're in shape. And that's how he's training right now. And you can say, oh, no, he's a warrior. He just trains like that. Shut the fuck up. No one trains that fucking hard unless they know what they're dealing with that's going to be in front of them. And when you don't have a fight, you don't have a date yet, you're not going to be going crazy and running your body into the ground because that's the stupidest thing you could do in terms of longevity. So I think he knows what he felt in there. I know what I felt in there. And I like to think that I'm ahead on the scorecards in my mind. And I really do think this is going to be a very, very good coming out party for me and just going to remind the world. It's not like I don't know what I'm capable of. I think it's just going to remind the world that, maybe he didn't get here by accident. I completely forgot that he won 5 fights before this, and he actually fought all top contenders. He didn't get the Dana White privilege and get blessed to fight a guy on a losing streak for a world title. What are we talking about? This is a different fight. But make no mistake about it, man. I know what I need to do out there, and I'm going to make sure I get it done.
Hey, Aljo, man, if it seems like to you it kind of feels good to get this off your back. I don't know that I've seen you do too much media. And honestly, we didn't – at least I didn't really want to bring it up too much because it was in March, But I guess this is simmering with you, and I think it's going to lead to a great, great rematch between the two of you guys. But, hey, man, you're the champ. You could take a pick with whoever, honestly. And you've been in the game for a while. I think the social media is probably just, you're just going to have to, leave that to the side. Or you've been really good about laughing along with them in the past. The trolls or whatever you want to call it. Or I don't know. But man, you've had an incredible career, and you deserve to walk out of the cage with that belt under the rules that everybody walks in with and what has to happen. There wasn't anything that was done that was illegal or anything like that. So continue to hold your head up high.
Oh, 100%, man. I worked very hard to get to this position, and no one can ever take that away from me. And I'm not saying he didn't work hard, but, man, you got gifted a shot when I fought the number 4 guy, and I was ranked number 2. And you beat the best level competition you beat was Jimmy Rivera, and I beat him lost no rounds. He lost the round to him. So it's like, what do we? I know you can't do MMA math, but I know what I'm capable of. I know what I accomplished, and at the end of the day, no one could take that away from me. And I wouldn't say the guys are getting to me in terms of like the social media, because I don't mind banter, but I do think that it gets to a point where I have to question and wonder if, like, do people really think this way, or like, is this really like how far the extent of their knowledge goes in terms of like understanding and observing, like being able to analyze what you're looking at, you know? And that's where I have to scratch my head and wonder, like, yeah, I'm dealing with absolute like crazy people, and these people really just don't know any better. So that's the only thing. Other than that, man, I'm just gonna have fun with it, and I think it's just gonna build the fight even more. And I just can't wait for the showdown, because this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be one of those fights we both look back at, and the rivalry from whatever, we both were on this collision course, and then we never collided until we got to the title fight, and I think it's gonna make for a great fight.
Well, two things here. You've always come back from adversity, and I remember the Caraway loss stung, but you came back strong after that. Same thing with Marias. So we're anticipating a better Aljo and a better Petr Yan. And I think those fans need to back off, because you've kept it pretty real. I got to give you credit. You know, just in this interview alone, you told us, hey, all he needed to do was lay it up. You know, and it
was right there.
It's never over till it's over. Just ask Jairzinho versus Overeem. Just ask Black Beast versus Volkov. So it's never over until it's over. But yeah, you know, you kept it real in terms of how the fight was going. I think everyone's got to respect that, and you know, we'll see. No, for us, for the people that enjoy the banter and the heat, you know, it will make for a bigger fight. So, ching, man, look at it that way.
Yeah, well, I wish those Russian guys would have to actually pay for pay-per-view, but I don't think they pay for pay-per-view over there. Motherfuckers, they just run their mouth. They don't have to pay for shit, you know? So I wish there was some way we could get some type of compensation for all their clown emojis, but maybe $1 per clown emoji that you leave on my page.
Hey, what happened to the chain? You downgrading a little bit, or is that the morning chain and then the evening chain, the thicker one comes out in PM?
I gotta get the other one. Honestly, it faded a little bit, so I gotta get a new one. Some people actually think it's a real chain. I'm like, nah, I put my money into houses, man. Not chains and flashy cars, but you know, that's the difference between myself and a lot of other people.
Yeah, no, I was just playing along, but I had a feeling that it wasn't a real chain either. How many homes do you own now? I mean, I know you. Are you still even? Does the champ even have time to show a home, sell a home? Is that on the side now?
Yeah, nah. I passed that all off to everybody else at my team, but for the most part, I mean, I try to do what I can. If it's friends and I'm home in New York, I'll try my best to show them the places. Like one of my friends is looking for a commercial spot, and I really don't have the time to help them. And it's just a rental. If it was a sale, that would be like, I could do that, but this one's just a rental, so it's just a 1 month payment, so it's not like it's gonna really make or break the bank for me. So if he could find someone else I could really dedicate the time, that's cool. You know, I want to make sure he's getting the right look and the right support, so he can find the right place for him in his business. But I own 3 houses now. I'm in the process of renovating one right now, my mom's basement and the kitchen. So we're doing a lot of work and just taking advantage of this hot market right now and making sure we could capitalize on the what do you even call it? The rise in how people are outbidding by like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, which is insane. You know, it's like you can't even get a house if you want. Like houses aren't even staying on the market longer than a couple of weeks. So if you don't know about real estate, now's the perfect time to get in. And that's not a sell for me. Like just ask any one of your friends or realtors that you do know, because if you got money laying around and you can get into a house, maybe not buy right now. This is definitely a seller's market. But if you could do like the rental thing, I still house hack. I got friends and teammates that I live with. And here in Vegas, it's just pretty much a fighter house and for my fiance and I.
All right, there you go. Hey, last question. The bantamweight division, it is popping. I keep telling everybody it's at the top of my list in terms of favorite divisions because it's so deep. All the way from you at the top, you know, going down. And even back 5-10 years ago, I used to have a lot of love for what Bibiano Fernandez was doing at ONE, or what Adantis and Warren were doing at Bellator. You know, I just saw a lot of talent across the board, not just the UFC in a lot of the divisions, but of course the UFC houses most of them now. But how do you look down at the landscape of the division and assess overall, I guess, the 135ers? Where do you think they match up now with some of those other ones? Actually, let me say this one last thing. The reason I push this hard is because I know there's a lot of love for heavyweights to catch big checks, and they should. Traditionally in combat sports, that's been a thing. But I've always pointed out to people that changed in the 80s when the Four Kings came along: Leonard, Duran, Hagler, and Hearns. And then we got this push towards Julio Cesar Chavez and Mud Mayweather and Pacquiao and De La Hoya. You're talking about 130 to 147 in boxing, and they cash big checks. That's what I want for you guys.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think even with like the Logan Paul thing and Jake Paul, like they might get a lot of flack from some of the fighters, but if you're paying attention, you understand what they're doing, and they're bringing a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, and they're showing that there is money to be made for everyone. And why everyone isn't getting it, I don't know numbers, but if those guys are doing those type of numbers, I don't know. I think the model needs to be revisited a little bit, If you pay me more, I'm going to want to fight more. You know what I mean? I want to get out of bed more to make that check. That's just the way I think. Some people might be comfortable. I got my ass whooped. I probably don't want to get back out and do that right now. I'm good for now. Me, nah, man, I want to take up everything that I could get right now and clean it up. But as for the bantamweight landscape, I think it's super competitive right now. Outside of the top 15, even probably in that top 20, maybe even 25, there's a lot of depth. Like there's a lot of good guys. You see this guy, Timur Valiev, who just beat Raoni Barcelos, who was ranked 15th at a point. You got that kid, obviously O'Malley, who's not even ranked. You got Chito Vera. You got all these good guys. You got that kid, Adrian Yanez, who's got the sickest hands. He reminds me of a Jorge Masvidal with the way he throws his punches and his stance, and kind of like how light he is with his hands and his combination, how quick his combinations come off. There's just a lot of good guys that I got to make sure I keep my eyes out for. Who's the one guy that just fought? Davey Grant, even though he lost to Chito Vera, he knocked out 3 guys in a row after a super long layoff. That guy, Jonathan Martinez. There's just so much good guys, man. And I got to make sure I'm paying attention to all these guys, because if I don't, that's when these guys come up and the young hungry lions take your spot and they slay the king, and I can't get slayed.
Kyler Phillips, Davalishvili, Rob Font, all those other guys that have put in some time, Assunção, Moraes. The list goes on and on, man. It is a sick division, and you blew it because you gave such a great answer. I gotta sneak in one more. Apologies to superstar agent Oren Hodak, who booked this. I told him 15, up to 25 minutes. Apologies, but give us a quick breakdown of McGregor and Poirier. This is what you do on the podcast that you have every week. So give us a little taste here on Junkie Radio, coming from a champion. How does he see the main event for UFC 264 going down?
All right, so we all know Dustin Poirier gave his assessment that he thinks Conor's going to now try to come out throwing calf kicks, so he's been working on checking him. I think it's a very smart analysis, and that's why I love about Poirier. He's not looking at every fight as the same. He's grown so much as a fighter, understanding that each fight is different. Oh, what the hell's going on over there? Oh, my vacuum is doing something crazy over there in the pool. But other than that, I think Poirier is right. You can't buy heart. I do think Conor's taking this fight because he wants to prove to not only himself but to the world that he's still got it. He can still compete with the best of the best, and he knows if he wins, he's more than likely going to get asserted in there for that title shot, because that's just what the UFC does for Conor McGregor. And I'm not saying the wrong for that. He draws a lot of attention. He's a high-profile fighter. He's earned his keep already, and he just needs that marquee win to get him back in that spot. I think Conor's good with the southpaw. He can't box the whole time. He can't be super heavy on that lead leg like he was last time and get that calf chewed up. I do think he's going to make the adjustments, but he's been out of the game so long, I don't know if it would be enough to take on a guy who's like fully indulged into the sport like Dustin Poirier. I'm not saying Conor can't win. He's always got to punch his chance, and we've seen him drop guys over and over again. I hope I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid thinking that he could do that for this one, but he's hurt Poirier in the first one, in that last one they had. I think he'll hurt him again, but if he wins, he has to do it early. If not, that's Poirier all day long. He like thrives in the heat of the battle. Like the gorier it gets, the more bloody it gets, he does better. I don't want to fight like that, but more power to him,
Great stuff from the champ there. Check out his podcast, the Weekly Scraps podcast. And if you want to meet the champ tonight, he'll be at PT's Ranch 6 to 7:30 p.m. here in Las Vegas. So check it out. Hey, Aljo, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it. Sorry we kept you a couple extra than what we agreed to, but you the man always.
Thanks for having me, fellas.